Ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready for this one tonight because our guest, you might want to say, came in like a whiskey star with a little bit of a whiskey lariat because I was watching live BTW episode 138, and all of a sudden I noticed our guest has now decided to challenge for maybe the biggest prize right now in the backyard and underground wrestling circuit in the BTW World Heavyweight Championship. And does that mean we're going to see a little bit of a blackout from our guest, or maybe he's going to black out the man that holds the championship? Plus, we're going to talk about what happened in that match at All Out War with, well, the one and only Steven Storm, who's now no longer a part of BTW this season. And what about those words from Comatose, who had a lot to say about Jacob Frost a few short days ago? And well, RTG is always a topic, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that because, after all, RTG is kind of the man that holds, once again, Jacob Frost's destiny in his own hands. And who knows whatever else we're going to talk about. And I certainly would not want to mess with our guest, especially what he does in the ring and outside the ring, and especially after what everything that's going on the last week in the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. I did pass my background check to be able to speak with our guest tonight. And I want to make sure I stay on the right side of history. So I want to give our guest that introduction because, after all, we're in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, and we are on that road to 1,000 subscribers. And you might want to say that road to 1,000 subscribers goes through Roseburg, Oregon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll get to it. I'll give our guest that introduction that he's been waiting for, you've been waiting for, and most importantly, I've been waiting for, especially after you saw some of my baby photos from last night's show. But that's last night. Tonight, we're on to business. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen, in prime time on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. So with without further ado, here, let's watch it. Number one, Gravel Sports Show, one of the premier stars in the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit, fresh off a very successful performance in the historic BTW All Out War 2. His name is, simply put, the Star Jakob My friend, how are we doing?
I'm doing just fine. I'm always glad to see that intro, hear that intro. So, I'm doing just fine. I'm fired up now.
It's funny. Actually, over the past few months, my mother, who I say this story all the time now, used to really didn't think much of me doing Sportswire and the podcast, and she says, I really enjoy them now. And she's like, you must have gotten those pipes from somewhere. I said, yeah, you gave birth to me. That's kind of how it goes. But I appreciate that. Enough of the pageantries. But it's good to see you. And first of all, congratulations over your huge victory over Steven Storm at All Out War 2. We'll get into what you said earlier today, but how does it feel to be back on track, getting a huge victory over Steven Storm at All Out War 2?
Well, there's been a lot of words coming about my name recently, especially from a certain someone that comes on the podcast a lot, it seems.
Yeah.
He says that I'm obsessed, and, he might be correct, because after being defeated by, being defeated
yes,
by
please, on this platform, if you misspeak, they will hold it against you at this point.
Oh, yeah, being defeated by Swift, I didn't really know where to go from there until Steven Storm challenged me, and I said, well, that'll be pretty easy. So I said, why not? And, I beat him, so I was correct. Though losing to his friend Magic didn't feel good, but seeing him get powerbombed into those tacks today felt really, really nice.
And I guess then you won't be sending a get well soon card to the likes of Steven Storm in the BCF3 then.
No, because I remember a chain going across my face and getting turned inside out with a choke slam. So.
And Steven Storm had a lot to say about you on Sportswire before the match. I think it was about 2 weeks prior to the match or something like that.
He did, but he couldn't back up his words, and it showed it in the match. And I tapped it. Well, I made him pass out because he never taps out. Though passing out versus tapping out, I'd rather tap out. But that, that's a whole story. But defeated Mikey D as well, and then now they're gone from BTW. So nothing really else to say about them, I'd say. Unless we want to check out the match, which
I'm gonna put the match up. Because obviously the chat's coming in here. Some people obviously didn't get a chance to see the match. I'm gonna put it up anyway. I know Zilla saw it. I know I saw it. I was in the chat. Zilla and I are always in the BTW chats the last couple of months or so. But we'll handle that in a minute. But getting a victory still, nevertheless, over Steven Storm, a guy that's been a world champion, and such a guy that's certainly had some success in BTW, and it kind of gets you away from the whole situation with Swift, which we'll lead into in a little while. But how important do you think, though, that victory was to kind of, in a way, put you to where you eventually want to be, especially after what you said earlier today?
Well, getting onto that win really got me back on track because I've only lost twice this season, once to Swift and right after to RJS. They're very good competitors. I have beaten RJS in the past. I've beaten Swift in the past.
Two of the very best in our circuit, no question about it.
One of the most strongest men, even though I hate to say it, in Swift. One of the most intellectual wrestlers.
But tonight's not going to be so much about Swift. Last time you were here was about Swift. Tonight, we're going to go into that in a little while, rest assured.
I have something planned for Swift near November, the anniversary of my retiring. But, we'll get to that later on. Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that, for sure, undoubtedly.
No, being defeated by RJS isn't that big of a deal for me, especially because in my opinion, he's one of the most intellectual backyard wrestlers today, and he can go. If he wants to go, he can go, and it's absolutely very impressive. I beat him for the Continental title, which he just challenged back for it against RTG.
That's the championship in this variation that he started with.
Yes, he did. He introduced the title, but I beat him for it.
That's true.
But I'm not the one challenging for the title, and you know what? I hope he puts RTG in his place, and I hope he can get.
But RTG holds your destiny though in his hands.
Well, when he signed my contract, he should have read the fine print. Because it says
he hasn't commented yet on this stuff.
Of course he hasn't, because he's trying to think of a stupid excuse or a dumb.
Oh, he's here Monday night, with I'm sure a few of you guys. It'll be BTW day, so that he's going to elaborate on it.
I cannot wait to talk to him about that. But you should have read the fine print, because in my contract that he signed, it says I get a guaranteed world title shot. Of course, it's not like Money in the Bank. I can't cash it in whenever, but I'm setting it for Halloween Day too.
We
all right.
Well, Fair enough. Continue.
You know, if RTG doesn't accept the match, it just shows that he's a coward and he thinks that I can beat Blackout. So really, why would he not accept the match? Blackout hasn't done damn with that title.
Well, I want to talk about that for sure. I definitely want to talk about that. What I want to do first, though, for the chat is I want to go back down memory lane a little bit, not too long ago, to show your last match against Steven Storm, the now former member of the BTW roster this season. And we're about to see. I figure we'll talk about it for a few minutes, close on that, and then certainly get into the current events. I see a lot of people in the chat, and thank you everybody for tuning in. While you're here, please support our friends in BTW. BTW is now become the top, at the very top. It's BTW and ROEW for us here in the backyard circuit. So we want everybody to support our friends in BTW. They've been so generous with their support of me. Every time I'm in the chat, I know you may not want to hear this, but RTG is always telling people to subscribe to Sportswire. So I gained some subscribers today. I don't know if it was from RTG. You may not want to hear that, but I did gain some subs. So I do appreciate that. Let's please support our friends. And BTW has done that here. Okay. Talk about the match here and the start that we're looking at. Obviously, it's almost like I'm watching an amateur wrestling match to start.
My father was actually a state champion wrestler, so I've gone on the mat with him a couple times. Never.
I see.
But Steven Storm was also a high school wrestler, but I did not know that. I should have done more research on the match. So he was.
Why didn't he tell us on Sportswire about that? Was it on purpose that he didn't want to tell us here on this platform?
He is definitely smarter than he looks, and I will give him that. But I am the better technical wrestler, as you can see right there. I was able to finally, and there, you know. But I don't really like getting dirty on the mat. I like getting down to the strikes and the big moves and all that. But when I have to, I will get technical and I will get on the mat.
So were you surprised in his ability to kind of hang with you in sort of that amateur grappling style a little bit? Were you surprised?
I was very surprised. I was definitely surprised when I had him in the hammerlock. He was able to hit me with that one hammerlock reversal. I was kind of surprised me a bit. It threw me off a little bit, but I was able to get back on track pretty quickly.
Is he stronger than he looks?
He is definitely stronger than he looks as well. I think it's the bigger people usually are stronger. And he's bigger than me in width and everything like that. So he was definitely stronger than me at the time, even though I'm a power lifter. But it did catch me off guard. Sorry, I'm trying to remember everything that happened in the match. It was
well, I'm watching it with the audience. I mean, I watched it, but just it's interesting because we're watching it. You know, I always look at these matches. We watch them. It's like if you're a football fan, I do this like the Manning cast. Where people are sitting there and kind of watching and breaking it down in a way because in the BTW chat that we're in, this is a different chat. So I try to break it down in a way that the viewer here on Sportswire might want to consider going over to the BTW page. But in terms of when you start a match with somebody like a Storm, and we're seeing some of the stuff here, do you feel like that you should have started the match differently? Because he's kind of in control here to start a little bit.
If I had known that he was an amateur wrestler before, I probably would have definitely started the match more technical based in professional wrestling instead of actual wrestling. Maybe get him in a headlock early, hammerlock earlier than I had. Maybe even an arm wringer, try to attack his arms and try to attack more of his limbs maybe as well, probably his legs, the lock and frostbite.
Do you want to kill him at this point? Limbs and body parts you're talking about.
No, you gotta think of everything once you get into the match. Attacking a body part can really, as he does right here, can really change the trajectory of the match. But
he was going after, I think, your lower leg. Yeah.
Yep, he was going after my shin. More of my ankle area, actually.
I was wondering, were you concerned about the numbers disadvantage that you had?
After Mad Jack, I definitely was. Though Mad Jack was not out there because he was. I don't remember if the Comatose title match.
Well, he was out there today, by the way. He was definitely out there today.
He was definitely out there today, and I was definitely worried about Mikey D for a little bit there, but I knew I had beaten Mikey D, and so it kind of let my worry down a little bit. But you never know what's gonna happen. They like to use chains. They're more hardcore wrestlers than I am, So I was just worried about whatever they'd hit me with, it would knock me out or maybe seeing stars for a little bit.
I mean, to go back to Swift, you and Swift have definitely mixed it up. We've talked
Yes,
about that.
we've used a lot of weapons on each other, and that's totally different. I was in a blood feud with Swift, and I know.
I think you're still in a blood feud with him.
It's
but
definitely not the same as the feud I was having with Storm. I didn't want to kill him per se, but Swift was a different story at the time.
Do you like what the style that Storm brings? And I don't know if I don't think I asked you this last time on the show, but is this a style that you're uncomfortable with and have to make an adjustment with? What's your kind of opinion on that? By the way, hell of a drop kick there, by the way.
Thank you. My one on BES I hit earlier in the season was probably my best drop kick I've ever hit.
That's a good
their style, they're more hardcore style. And Stevens is definitely a bigger guy, but he's not like all that big. So he brings like powerhouse, technical striker kind of thing going. And it's different. It's definitely different because it's a lot like my style. You've seen me do the strikes, seen me do the big moves, seen me get technical. So I was kind of thrown off because I've never actually faced someone that's kind of like my style. So it kind of did throw me off.
So from what I gathered, Storm is more similar to you than maybe we realize. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, I'd say his style is definitely not his personality or body type or anything.
No way. Your personality is him? No way. It's the complete opposites. I mean, you couldn't. If I would, it's like apples and oranges almost.
You see there, I'm attacking his leg, getting it ready for hypothermia later on or sub-zero.
Yes, I definitely see that there, and that's obviously gonna wear him down, anybody else down. And I also think the longer in a match goes, from what Copper Dragon and Jack Delta always says is, you don't really know a lot about wrestling. I know wrestling, but I'm not a wrestler. But correct me if I'm wrong. In a match like this, the longer it goes on, wouldn't it also be to your advantage to work on your opponent's legs the way you are right now? Doesn't that help later on in a match? Because it's gonna wear him down a little bit by taking away his legs.
Yes, because the longer the match goes, the more damage, even walking on it will do more damage to it, the more I attack it.
He's banging your head, literally. He is banging your head. Quiet Riot there. Bang your head. He's banging your head, literally.
It did have me seeing stars for a little bit, but I was able to get out of this quite quicker than I thought. Oh, he let me go. Never mind. Sorry, I haven't seen it. I don't watch my matches back.
Weren't you in the chat on the All Out War? Were you in the chat on All Out War? I feel like you were there for a minute or two.
I was there for a minute, but I had to go tend to some stuff on my farm. So.
Well, that's a good. I'm not going to certainly interrupt.
I've watched this match maybe once, and I don't usually watch my matches back because I don't know. It's just
why is that, Bud? That's an interesting point that you made. Some guys will tell me I'll watch my match 6 and 7 times. Other guys will be like, kind of like you. I watch it once and I forget about it. Why is that for you?
Because as much as I like critiquing myself, I don't like critiquing myself at the same time. And I know if I watch my matches back more than once, then I'll just get in my own head about things that I don't need to be in my head about. Like I could have been like, oh, I could have done things differently, even though it was fine the way it was. So it's just like, I just don't want to get in my own head about how the way I wrestle and the way I do stuff and everything like that. But,
did you like being the first match on the card?
It was different for me. Usually I'm in the upper card domain now, but being the first.
That's why I asked you, because you've been around. That's why I was curious.
When I first started, I was usually the first match.
That was a while ago. That was
a while ago. Damn.
You look a lot different then.
I do.
You grew. You grew.
Making him pass out right there. Again, wrestling someone like my style just kind of threw me off because I have such a unique. A lot of people tell me this, that I have a unique style in the yard because I can do powerlifting shit, striking shit, technical shit, and it's just different, But not having Mad Jack out there definitely helped me out in the long run because he was getting ready for the match against Comatose, of course.
Do you
And
feel that helped you then? It helped you because of
his size and strength and everything, it definitely helped me. If I'm gonna be completely honest, if he had hit me with the chain again, or even choke slammed me, I probably could have gone down for the 3. Because as you saw against my match in Mad Jack, he hit me with the chain once,
Yep.
choke slammed me
That was
once.
the Tuesday show. That was the go home show from that.
Yep. Actually, it was the show before the go home show because I faced Mikey D on the go home show. I'm pretty
Right,
sure.
Mikey D. You lost to Mad Jack, but beat Mikey D. If I recall
Yes, I
correctly.
did.
Okay, there you go. I stand corrected. Let me ask you though. You talked about self confidence in a way and not watching a match more often, but still getting a win here. Going back to the original question and making him pass out, and he had the numbers game. It's still got to give you some confidence. Now you've got back-to-back wins. Now you got back-to-back wins over members that have been giving you some troubles, and it gives you something to kind of hang your hat on, or maybe hang your bandana on, going into what we'll talk about in a few minutes, I'm sure.
It definitely gave me some more confidence in myself, especially after losing the 2 matches in a row against Swift and RJS, and it definitely gave me the edge to challenge Blackout. Being against numbers is no fun, and I know Comatose talks about it a lot against his match against RTG, but it's really no fun because you never know when you're going to get hit from behind or what they're going to hit you with or anything like that. So it really can get in your head during a match. You just got to keep your eyes on every single thing because there's a rule in wrestling: you should never turn your back on the opponent. But usually the people outside of the ring are more dangerous than your opponent.
But in your case, you've been in several matches recently, been outnumbered in multiple cases, sometimes 2 and 3 to 1. And that's very difficult to be able to forget about, don't you think?
Yes, being able to map out what you need to do to win the match, but versus what's going to actually happen during the match, that you can't map out for having multiple people. I mean, obviously you can get in control and map out what you want to do to be in control before the match if it's just a 1v1. But in the case of BCF3, there were 2 other people or one other person that you had to worry about, so you couldn't
Mikey
really
D, Mad Jack, or Storm, and
like
some variation.
I had Mikey D in a Sub-Zero at one point, and they raked my eyes and I couldn't see. They handed Mad Jack the chain and he punched me in the face.
Yes.
Mikey D got involved in a little bit there, but I was able to usually get him off me, throw him away, try to keep him on the ground as much as I could, as long as I was trying to win the match against Steven.
Now, I know we have a lot of people in the chat, and I want everybody to hang on tight, but let me ask you this in a way to reflect on what the BCF3 did this season. What do you think that they added to BTW this year that made BTW an interesting place?
If I'm being for real, they're definitely they're fun to have around. I can see they have the passion. Obviously, if they need to work on some stuff, that will definitely whip them into shape in next season. But I was very impressed with them. I thought they did way better than I thought they would. Especially also Comatose. When I first heard Comatose was going to be there and he hadn't wrestled in forever, I was like, it's going to be interesting. Let's put it lightly. It's going to be interesting. But he blew me out of the waters, my expectations. Mad Jack definitely blew my expectations out of the water. But Mad Jack was definitely way better than I thought he would be. Mikey D and Steven Storm also were way better than I thought what they would be. But as I said, got to work on some stuff, and as next season goes on, you will see what they've learned and how they will impromptu into the match. And yeah, I genuinely think this is one of the better seasons and better tapings I've been a part of in my time in backyard wrestling. So,
and I think it's a good time. I think BTW, it's kind of like the right time at the right moment. Like BTW is kind of needed right now to have a company like this that has the quality and is just straight up, just everybody's can put a banger out there. I think it's kind of needed with what's going on. And I think to have a company and to see the success of All Out War and even tonight's, show at 1:30 or afternoon, depending on where you are, I think that definitely BTW is a company that we're very happy to have a part of on Sportzwire Radio. You know what? Let me get to the chat. I got a lot of people in the chat. Let's first of all, before we do anything, this is BTW's YouTube channel. I really appreciate it if you hit the sub button for me for BTW, because BTW is now closing in on 3,100 subscribers. First, I think when we first met, it was like we'll get to 29, right? Then we'll get to 3. Now we're getting to 31. So we're, I think, like 30-something subscribers away, RTG. I'm about 50-something subscribers away from 1,000. They're about 30-something subscribers away from 3,100. So we're both trying to achieve some goals. So let's try to achieve those goals. Hit the sub button for me, and I'll get to some of the people in the chat. I'm going to bring you up on the big screen because I don't certainly want to be into a Sub-Zero with you. I want to bring you into the big chat for a little. Let's get to the crowd here first. What's with this guy? I'm here. What's with this guy? Justin Parsley. But I'm wearing his shirt, by the way. I don't know why, but I'll have my BTW shirt by Monday. So the good news is, in your future appearance, I'll have BTW merchandise to wear. But
Speaking of merchandise, link in my bio. Go buy.
I will. All right, you're next on the agenda. Since we have a couple of shirts we probably can't wear in public anymore, we'll have to make sure we change the wardrobe there. But I digress for now. But this individual here,
Mr. Parsley, is
fellow Midwesterner. I don't think though he works on a farm though. He's more of a DJ. He doesn't have the farm abilities. Last I checked.
I don't really want to get much on him, but I've seen his work and I'm very impressed. And I would love to work with Mr. Parsley anytime, anywhere, and whenever he wants me. So
okay. Well, obviously Mr. Parsley is, I think, pulling on his lip there. I mean, I don't want to.
Not too sure.
Does he have like a starburst stuck in his lip or something underneath there? It's not like a living bear. I don't know.
I'm not too sure what he's doing there, but I don't really want to find out.
Good point. Zilla, of course, is here. Zilla, I saw was on Instagram yesterday. Zilla was in the chat in BTW. She says hello, and she says hello to the fearless leader of the Spinners, the inaugural PWF champion, Justin Parsley.
I forgot about the Sinners. Yeah, that's a pretty sick name for a team, honestly.
I guess they're all sinners, I suppose. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, there are 7 deadly sins, so.
Well, okay. Well, thank you, Zilla, for the kind words. I appreciate that. Zilla Mania is upon us. Zilla Mania. There you go. Abraham Storm is here. Abraham, good to see you, my man. Abraham was here on Thursday's show. Yes, hello to Abraham. The thunderous Abraham Storm. He's got a big show Tuesday coming. Next Tuesday, Champions Collide CSW. Let's see. Let's get to some more chats. My buddy Vegas Storm is in the house. He'd like to say, let's go Frost. Baby Tom. I'll put the Baby Tom up photo in a little while so everybody can see it again. You can see that again. Yes, hi to TikTok. You know what? TikTok, that photo, that video I put up, do you know it got almost 600 views on TikTok?
Wow.
That was my best TikTok video in like 3 weeks. In 3 weeks. So TikTok seemed to like it. Hello to my buddy Rob Ryan, all the way from Australia. The boys are training out there in PXW. Want to make sure they're doing well out there. Yes, everybody's doing good. Speaking of people, you guys say hello to Mr. Frost. I'm not. You want to call Mr. Frost the GOAT? That's a good thing to do in there, Comatose.
Comatose always calls me the GOAT in my DMs and everything.
Yes, making sure that Comatose very kind of himself to call you the GOAT. Speaking of people that would I'd sure love to say hello, Mr. D'Angelo the Flame.
D'Angelo Flame is definitely one person I would love to see in BTW. But I will say this right now before we go on. If you want a place where they treat you like family, where you can, talk about your booking and everything like that, then BTW is the place to be, because they let me in with open arms, even though everything that's happened in my past, and I have not regretted it, and I don't think they have, and I really appreciate them.
I love BTW.
I really appreciate them, and they're just like a second family to me, and I owe them more than they think. So.
No, and we are very grateful to be working with BTW. We're very grateful to be working with Resurrection. Jack Spade is here next week.
If you ever have an itch to go out to the West Coast, then hit up BTW on Instagram and everything like that. Tom will probably put it up here soon. But
I actually was going to. When we cleared it, we have a lot of comments. I was going to actually.
But hit them up, and they guys will create magic together, 100%.
Roseburg, Oregon. If D'Angelo the Flame, he's been to Ohio, Bremen. He's been to Worcester, Massachusetts. He's, he can go to.
You call it God's country, Tom.
But I do call it God's country.
Person is a whole different animal, especially at sunset. Beautiful place. I love traveling there every time I go.
It's got to be like God's country. Am I wrong in saying it's God's country?
Once you come back from the airport, you drive right by the mountain that you see
Oh
in
my
the back.
God. How far is the airport from the BTW arena?
Nearly an hour, which honestly isn't as bad as I thought.
Okay. Well, it's still, I mean, it's an unbelievable sight there. I will put the Instagram and the YouTube link up in a minute. Hello, old Chili Jack.
I mean, everyone always makes the Jack Frost jokes. It's old comatose. Come on, think of something else.
Now, do you like the frost at Wendy's?
And now that you say that, I haven't had one in a long time, so I'll get back to
it. Yes, on Sportswire. This is what the riveting debate is. We get on Sportswire. Stimulating talk on Sportswire. Asking about, did anybody have a frost from Wendy's recently?
Frosties versus McFlurries.
I would think, the Wendy's frost would be better than the McFlurry, because the McFlurry to me sounds like something to be stomachache material.
McFlurry is Frosty. You drink, don't you? And McFlurries, you more just spoon up like ice cream. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had it in a while, so I
haven't had it either. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever it is, we appreciate it. Thank you, and let's get to some more comments. Yes, hello to Comatose. Hello to D'Angelo the Flame. Steven Storm says hello, and also here, oh Lord Frost, your contract has more fine print than a New York newspaper. Now, can you confirm?
Because my lawyers know what to do, Comatose. My lawyers know where to put it, when to put it, how to put it, and RTG doesn't read that shit. He'll just sign it. It doesn't matter to me.
He'll sign it, I see. You sure, though? Because, I mean, he's in the chat. I haven't read up what he had to say. There's a lot of people.
He's a senile old man. He doesn't even know his life right from his left, so it's okay. He'll probably next week.
Well, no, he'll remember. He'll remember. Monday, we're on Monday. He actually reminded me about it on Sportswire, actually. Well, yes, thank you. How much to buy out Jacob's contract? I didn't really realize. Did Justin Parsley steal my bank account? Is that what he's trying to tell us?
Get to me in the DMs, Parsley, and I'll tell you an exact number.
Didn't realize Mr. Parsley had access to my bank account there. Is that what he's telling me here, Mr. Parsley?
Might want to get your cards checked, Tom.
Actually, I didn't once actually have it. I did actually once have my credit card. Actually, somebody used it. I didn't know. Yes. Dilla's definitely the GOAT. I got a good one. Zilla's got a good question though. This is actually a good one. I have a question for Jacob Frost. How tall are you? But Steven Storm's in the chat. I'll get to him. But how tall are you? That's a good question from Zilla.
I am 5'10". Not that tall, not that short. It's right in the middle, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm about 6 foot. So you're
I face people that are like 6'3" and everything. That's a challenge. I like being my height because a lot of people I wrestle are around that height. So
yeah, it's a good height. I think
Comatose is like 6'1", I think.
Yeah, you know what? He looks like he's about 6 foot-ish, 6 foot, 6 foot. I mean, I'm sure Comatose will correct me on the height, but because Comatose will know his height. But I would imagine that that's really where he would know about that. So that's a different show for a different time. And we'll go like this in a minute. By the way, I do for the audience, we have a big crowd here. I'll remind the people of this photo here again. So just to remind the chat that, there you have it. So we'll have fun with it. Yes, Dilla's 5 feet to 5'1". Thank you for that. And RTG is here, and he says, "Hi, Frosty. You finally got a win." From RTG. You finally got a win.
I've been running through your roster whole season, man. I've only lost twice. Can't please this guy, man.
Well, I mean,
but I guess he can let Blackout never wrestle for the world title. So.
We're gonna get to that. Probably when we clear the chat. Probably knowing this chat, we probably got about 10 minutes. Could be more. Let's see.
That's okay with me.
Well, I think people they want to talk. They want to just converse and have a good time. Hi to BTW Continental Champion RTD, and also one half for the tag team champions. I'm 5'10", 5'11". That's right. Yeah, you and Storm seem to be about the same height. That's a good point because we talked about that. He might have slightly had the height advantage, correct? About maybe half an inch, right? Maybe
not even, but it didn't really matter in the end. So
well, you won, but if we're going to be technical, but speaking of people that were always here with us, our good buddy Mr. Yoshi Matsuda, who says hello, gentlemen. I hope all is well. And let's get to some more talk here. Stimulating talk on Sportswire. Frosty beating the BCF3 Scrubs. Does that really earn you a shot at the Monster Blackout for the BTW Heavyweight Championship?
Did you forget the part where I just said I've been running through your roster this whole season? I have only lost twice. I am one of the motherfuckers that deserves a shot at the title. But you might be too scared, RTG. I don't know.
He doesn't seem impressed, though, from this statement. He doesn't seem impressed.
You could lift 1,000 pounds and he'd be like, but 1,001. But 1,001.
But he's got the gun show. He's got the, those man guns. That's what it is. I'll move on. Fun fact, RJS is actually comic book Wolverine height.
So I'm not too sure if you know this, Tom, but Wolverine comic height is about 4'8". So
well,
I don't think that.
I'm going to say that we're not going to discriminate against people's height on Sportswire. Yes, hello to the clan Matsuda, Yoshi Matsuda, and greetings to my most loyal subject. So now Zilla says it's 5'3".
5'3". Okay, that might be right.
Zilla knows everything. Zilla is almost like Alexa. Zilla knows about wrestlers. She knows wrestling height. She knows everything. Zilla should take over Sportswire. I tell you what, Zilla should take over Sportswire because I can retire, go off into the sunset, and Zilla will take over. Everybody loves Zilla. That way we'll be in safe hands. And by the way, Mr. Matsuda has subscribed to BTW. Very kind of Mr. Matsuda. Very kind of Mr. Matsuda. I want to return the favor to Mr. Matsuda for a minute because Mr. Matsuda, he's got a YouTube channel, and I want to give him a nice little sub because if you're here for the first time, my buddy, Mr. Matsuda, is always on Sportswire. He's on every single stream, and if you can, go hit the sub button for Wrestling Zero because Wrestling Zero is 5 subscribers away from 100. So I know you're out there. If you haven't yet hit the sub button, go sub to Wrestling Zero. All you have to do is go right there. It's at Wrestling_Zero with an X, XERO, almost like a thing like the police song. SOS, I'll send an SOS. There you go. So hit the well, Matsuda. Oh no, he's a musician. So hit the sub button for our friends at Wrestling Zero. We'd really appreciate it. Let's see who else here. Comatose says, I was joking, but he's definitely taller. I'm just told. Yeah, Comatose is about 6'1", all right, 6'1.5", something like that. And Mr. Ryan would like to ask, how is your day doing? How is your, I didn't ask you. I said, how are we doing? But I didn't ask you. I should have. How is your day doing today? How was your day?
Pretty good. Didn't do much, so.
Didn't do much.
Just getting ready for Sportswire here.
Oh, thank you. I wish we could trade places. My day was like never stopped. It never stopped. Let's trade places. When I'm dead, that's my running joke is people tell me, we're going to take a vacation. Maybe when I'm dead. I don't know. Who knows? But let's see here. Comatose, I think, likes Wendy's over McDonald's. And thank you for that, Comatose. We really appreciate that. That was what people want to know. And yes, Dilla really does appreciate BTW. 6'1". There you go.
I guess right. Look at that.
There you go. Somebody knew something. Hit me up. We can talk about it, but probably more than you have, Mr. Parsley. But I can always loan his, I think he meant to say, butt out, RTJ.
He loaned me out, man. What the hell? We're making business talk in the chat. And this guy.
I think Mr. Parsley really then doesn't have my finances because if we really were to, as we saw on yesterday's show, I could pull out a stack. I'm sure, but I don't want your contract to be bored. I want you to stay in BTW because I like watching you in BTW. So I want RTG to continue to have your contract. And Mr. Parsley should hopefully focus on being in the PWF. So, but I'm sure that we can figure out something down the road.
That Sinners thing, but.
You want to be a center, huh?
I don't know. I guess if they offered me, I might. I don't know.
And do you think Mr. Parsley should offer you something? Do you think he should?
I'm not sure what's going on in his head, so I don't even ask him that.
I don't know either. I'm actually 1/3 of his employers. I don't know what's going on in his head. But do you think he should, maybe try to reach out to you and have a chat? Because he also wrestled. He also wrestled in ROEW, by the way. Now those stomping grounds very well from certain individuals there. I'm sure you know well.
Yes, I would love to be in ROEW. I'd love to work Storm and Black and C Money and all of them.
They've got some obviously wrestlers there down. Darkron's Herd.
I would love to see them in BTW once we do get the ring, of course. And
I'll pretend I never heard that.
I would love to. Everyone already knows. Not even sugarcoat it.
I'm sure we'll talk about that down the road when that situation comes. But listen, We'll have to find out. Speaking of people that do want to say hello, Frosty Boy, Mr. RJS, who, by the way, was a part of the victorious BTW team. Could you have imagined if Team BTW had lost today? How would that have impacted your contract situation, maybe getting that title shot potentially against Blackout? How do you think that would have arranged and such?
I just would have pulled a Kevin Nash and sat at home till my contract ran out. So, but if they would have lost, I would have been laughing at them when they came back.
Kevin Nash is still sitting at home collecting money. For a guy that, he's certainly done well at collecting checks. But I'm going to move on and not talk about collecting checks. I got some more comments here. So the chats, we got a lot of people here tonight. I think people just want to talk wrestling these days. People are just like, it's time to move on. I am glad. Hi to the GOAT RJS. Well, Comatose beat him, though. Just saying. I mean, Comatose beat him.
I beat him too. So does that mean and me and Comatose have never fought? There can't be two goats.
I'm gonna get to that. Let's get to some more comments here. A lot of comments here. Frosty, you lost to Dumatos in the 6-man elimination. Swift and Magic. I am sure there's probably more losses, but then again, I'm a senile.
You are a senile old man. If you really want to count 6-mans, then I don't know why you would want to count 6-man eliminations. That's just dumb. But my priorities were somewhere else that day. I wanted to go after Swift, but it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I had no idea I was even in the 6-man until they told me to get my ass out there. I was barely in my gear. So
what did you think of his offspring, Mr. RJS, challenging Mr. RTG? What did you think about that tonight?
Good for RJS. Give back the title that I beat him for. And if anyone can beat RTG, it is definitely the Sunsetter. And I hope he puts his ass in his place.
Well, the sun might set literally when we have the Halloween.
Well, if RTG loses, he's retired. But I'm not too sure how long of a monster reign he's going to have with that Continental Championship when RTG's faces RJS at Halloween Day 2.
RTG, though, seems to be continuing to win, though. He seems to...
He does. He's able to pull it out with help, usually.
Win's a win, though.
A win is a win. I will give him that. And I'm not too sure if I'm going to face him this season, but if I do, then his...
Well, you got something that we're going to talk about eventually. Eventually, we're going to talk about. But before we do it, if you actually do want to get in touch with BTW, let me put this Instagram page up, because if you'd like to support BTW, this is their link. It's btw.wrestling_. This is the official Instagram for BTW Wrestling. The doors are definitely open. You got some really big stars there. You got the likes of RJS, Swift, BES, RTG, and even more names like Jacob Frost, and certainly Comatose, and you just saw the BCF3, and we've got Blackout. Just some really big stars. Please support our friends. They're doing it the right way, and let's support those that support us. So go out and hit that sub button on YouTube, follow them on Instagram, and tell them the Reverend Tom Bryce sent you, because BTW is now at the top of our backyard wrestling company that we like to talk about here. So we want to talk about those. They're obviously putting on some fantastic shows. Today's show was definitely another example of that. So please support our friends in BTW. And judging by the amount of people that are here, I think you'd be inclined to agree. So let's get to some more comments here, as I got plenty of them. There's something that actually has only lost twice.
But I have only lost twice in singles action. Okay, RTG. Singles action, I've only lost twice. There you go.
Thank you for the
I believe you are the same.
Let me get to this next comment. Man, don't take away from the stars. I don't know. Remind me the reference there. Where did we come up with? But let's come back to some more comments. RTG is fired up. Oh, I see. Yes. I need to go. Oh, okay. There's the reference. Thank you, Mr. Matsuda. Yeah. Yeah, man. I think I know what he's talking about. I think he's talking about music and the money. Thank you, Mr. Matsuda. I will definitely go bow down to the Shogun and the Oyaban. But in the meantime, not to mention you were brought back for a specific reason and you couldn't even accomplish that. That's Mr. Swift.
As I've said in the past, why would I help you beat the person that I want to beat? that is holding the title that he beat me for. Why would I help you in any way, shape, or form in reality?
Because that would help you down the road?
Not really, because he would have lost the title, and if I had beaten him, I would have won the title and beaten Swift. Obviously he lost the title in the sixth man, so it doesn't really matter.
He doesn't like, but he doesn't like Swift either.
Well, I don't give a damn who he likes, doesn't like. He's my boss, but he can't fire me for my contract. He can't really do anything about it because he signed the contract. He can't fire me. He can't do anything.
Did he have? Maybe he has a legal. Maybe he has a legal team reviewing the contract since he signed it.
They won't find anything. I have the best legal team in the country.
Well, I actually technically do have a legal background. I am a notary public.
Yes, I had Tom Bryce look at my contract as well, and he said it was ironclad RTG. So you can't do it. You can't do it.
Boy, and here we go. Another subject that I'm in the middle of. Let's go on to more comments here because I see the chat is still going. 20 plus minutes of comments so far. I think this is more than your last appearance on Sportswire. Like, I think you had like 10 comments. They have like 100 comments. So here you go. Didn't do much. Summed up your season thus so far. Running through my roster this season, LOL, you must be thinking about last season. 20 and senile. 20 and senile.
Let's run down the people that I've beaten and haven't beaten. Okay. I beat Clevis and Fuckhead in a 2-on-1. I beat the Wolverine Brothers in a 2-on-1. I beat the two best matched luchadors in the company, Redhead and Blue Thunder. I beat BES, the coolest in the yard, the former world champion.
One of the pound for pound best. I'll give you that.
One of the most agile.
How about that spot today? Now, I want to make sure, RTG, you need to make sure that goes on like every YouTube reel, every short, that spot he had. I still don't even know how he got up after that. I'll put it up on the screen in a little while to remind RTG. I'll remind him of it to make sure we blast it on YouTube.
He's senile, so he probably doesn't remember the show from today. But I've lost to RJS and Swift, and I guess whoever was in the sixth man, but I don't count six mans, and I don't know why you do either, RTG. But
that's a question you'd have to ask him. I'm sure he'll let us know.
He'll give me some bullshit excuse, like, oh,
Oh, okay, all right. I have a good question for you. It's a good one from Rob Ryan. Who is the favorite match you've had so far in your career? Who's your favorite match? Or what's your favorite match?
God, I've had some good matches in my career. Not trying to, praise myself.
Trust me, you can praise yourself on this platform.
I'll give one from each company I've been in. I've been in JNA, MEBW, WWA, and BTW all together.
Okay.
And then I had one mega crossover that it's not even on YouTube anymore. I faced a Dak Ryan, which was
I had a Dak Ryan.
I was still my mask character at the time, L Omega. But in JNA, it was probably the final match. It was the world title match for the world title, and I walked out the winner against Luke Hayes. He did everything he could, but and in the end, I was able to pin him for the 3 and win the world title, a title I had never had in my career. MEBW was probably either Chris Storm or Matt Thunder. I'm gonna say Matt Thunder because I think Matt Thunder was definitely the best in the backyard from 2017 to whenever they shut their
21. Doors. I think was it 21.
I think, and RJS can back me up on that. That man could go in the ring.
He mentioned him, I think, in the promo against Comatose.
Yes, he could go in the ring, and he could back up everything he said, and he was the true best in the yard, no matter what anybody else says. WWA, probably my match against Carson Michaels. I hit a Spanish Fly and a Canadian Destroyer in that match, which was pretty fun.
Oh, my God.
I've never hit those moves before. That was super fun. BTW was probably the match against Swift I just had. I think that's from the start of the bell to the end of the bell was perfectly paced in the way we wanted it to be. The spots were fine, great even. And I think against Swift is definitely one of the best in the yard, even if he doesn't travel. Though I wish
he doesn't have to travel. Though
I wish they would travel. I would love to see them in ROEW, IMF, XCW, any of those places because they can go.
It's tough, traveling is not for everybody. It's just
traveling is not for everybody. It's a pain in my ass. I know that, but
Well, if you don't want to be a pain in Jacob Frost's butt, He's on Instagram, Jakob Frost, BTW. Please go support him. That is his Instagram page. I know there's a lot more people in the chat that want to talk. I'll get to you. But please support those who support us. And Mr. Frost has become a friend, and BTW is one of our favorites. So let's get to some more comments here.
If you want to click the link in my bio and buy some of my merch, go on.
I can put the merchandise link up in a few minutes. I will do that as well. I will take care of the merchandise link.
I'm wearing one of the shirts on there right now, Whiskey Lariat. But let's get to Masuda's comment. Sorry.
Well, I have more comments. I don't remember where I'm going next. Okay. I looked up the Wolverine hype from the comic books on Google. Zilla is Googling while she's watching Sportswire. That's an amazing. This is why Zilla should take over Sportswire. Zilla is amazing. We love Zilla on Sportswire. Zilla knows best. Zilla definitely knows best. And let's get to some more comments. Also, I have to promote myself for a minute. If I don't do that, I'm going to actually
self-promote. Always.
It's actually for a good cause. I am actually promoting something that is an event, and I have to give a lot of credit to a good friend of mine, Angela Pink, who is putting together an event in Brooklyn, the Soul of South Brooklyn Music. Yours truly is a sponsor of it. It's going to be where it's a really well-known songwriter and singer in the Russian community, and I'm sponsoring it with a number of different people. It's community groups, some doctors, some politicians, and different people. And there's my logo. I have donated a ticket to it. I'm getting my Sportswire logo all over it. I want to thank, obviously, Angela, the organizer of the event. And I really want to let everybody go out and follow my Facebook page for more information on it at Sportswire Radio. Angela's on Facebook. If you'd like to check out more details, you can do that. And definitely, yes, I am trying to support a number of different things. I am also supporting my dad's side of the family. Unfortunately, we have a young boy fighting. It was a distant cousin of mine fighting a bad brain disease, and we're trying to support him. I've been raising money for him, which I don't have to ask the Chad for. I'll just open up my own checkbook for. But obviously, we're praying for him, a young little boy, Jameson Joyce. But definitely, buddy, take care, hang in there. But in the meantime, October 27th. I'll be there, and I'm looking forward to the event. It'll be in the afternoon, and I actually will be there for this one. So it'll be before Sportswire. Don't worry. I'll transport from there and come back onto Sportswire. There's no days off on Sportswire. Don't you worry. Let's come back to some more comments. I got a lot of them here. What help did I have at All Out War 2, Frosty? Nobody came out there with me, and I beat BES and the man who lived rent-free in your head, Swift, RTG.
But half the match you were out cold doing nothing as Swift and BS beat the absolute hell out of each other. So in reality, you kind of picked the bones. But I gotta give you ups for that, for picking the bones, and you won the match and walked out with your title. So got me there, I guess.
For whatever reason, reminds me of the Guns N' Roses song "Dust in Bones." Thank you, Zilla, for subscribing to Wrestling Zero. Let's get them to 100 subscribers tonight, though. Wrestling_0 XERO. They've got a really cool show that they just did. They have a bunch of training. They have almost storyline development. They're almost doing what NXT would do in the backyard wrestling circuit. Really cool stuff. Shout out to Kumi and Matsuda and everybody else involved in that. Please go out there and support. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Matsuda. We love Wrestling Zero. And Comatose wants to remind you kind of what he said on Saturday's show, that you haven't beat him.
You talk about me so much, and I try not to bring you up because I don't want to give attention to someone that obviously wants it. There's no lie that I have been around for a long time, and you've been around for about the same amount of length. And I'm beat to hell. I'm going to be honest. My body is, from all the training and years of yarding, it's catching up to me. But I'm going to finish this season out strong and hopefully rehabilitate till next season. But if Comatose wants a match with me, then I don't see why the hell not. But that's a conversation for later on. We'll obviously got my merch up right there, and we'll talk about more of Comatose later.
And by the way, good news on the merchandise. I got to give the cheap plug. We've actually got a discount. Now, I, like an idiot, last week when I bought the merchandise, I didn't get the discount. But the good news was I bought multiple shirts from different promotions, and I still kind of got a discount. But if you right now, only $16. Think about that. Only $16. You could buy your own own Jakob Frost shirt. You could buy a BTW shirt for $16. $16.
And fun fact, I actually designed all the merch myself. I try to get in a graphic design here and there, but I think it came out beautifully.
I
So,
think you did a great
I
job, and
hope people,
I heard through a birdie my Comatose shirt was designed by somebody I'm speaking with, winking a nod.
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. Yes, you're welcome. You're
But
welcome.
I hope people like it, and I hope people do buy them, and I'll hopefully have more stuff up there here soon.
Yes, and let's support our wrestlers, our yarders, our promotions. Really, in all seriousness, it's very important that we buy their merchandise because this is what helps them. We want to support those who support us, and that's what it's about here. I know that a lot's been talked about, but we're getting back to normal, and the way we'll get back to normal is support those that support us. So please buy some merchandise. And I would love to see a Jacob Frost as a Sinners, as I'd love to see Jacob Frost in IMF Wrestling. So maybe Zilla could relay a message that you could be a center
I'm
and
trying
be.
to get there, Zilla. I'm trying. I promise you, I'm trying to get there.
Well, you might be in luck because tomorrow I have the IMF World Champion in your chair, Mephisto. Now, I can certainly ask Mr. Mephisto his thoughts if you like. You know,
Well, if you want to bring my name up here and there, Tom, will gladly accept that.
you're welcome. You're welcome. That's I owe you because you designed the Comatose shirt.
And you didn't hear this from me, but I also designed all the merch on the BTW website that you guys should go buy merch from.
I bought one of those shirts, so I must be waiting when I get that in the mail by Monday, hopefully, God willing, that we'll have to give the other wink in the knot. Hillbilly Tilly is in the house, the general manager from the AWL. Would like to say howdy, fellas, and also want to thank everybody one more time for wishing me a happy birthday. I had over 500 people wish me a happy birthday. 500 people. 500 people. I don't know why, but there's that many people.
I love AWL. I love watching every.
Yes, ADT and AJ Morgan, Dylan Andrews,
I
really
don't
good
think
talent.
I'll ever be able to get down there, but if
It's
they
far
ever
from
want,
you, right? What's the travel distance from you over there?
I think it's over 12 hours.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Which
I'm sure they'll
went to
understand.
South Carolina when I was way younger. So honestly, it's not that bad of a drive, but it's just it's just more of the financial side and everything, and then when I'm gonna be able to fit that in. But the three places I have that I definitely for sure want to go to: ROEW, XCW, and IMF.
Well, two of those three we have a guest coming on this week from. We have Mephisto tomorrow, and we have Friday the ROW champion, Big Man Cam.
No, not that guy.
Well, he's the champion.
He
gave me a cameo. I mean, he gave me a cameo. I mean, he's coming here next Friday. This Friday, he's coming here on Sportzwire. I mean, I can ask him about you.
I'll be there.
Okay, that one you'll be there for. Good deal. Yeah, Big Man Cam, he's a big draw. People like to hear him. Bring Comatose on the show. Well, take a Frost here. I had Comatose on Saturday, though.
You know what, Tom? If you want to bring in Comatose for later, we can.
Well, if Mr. Comatose is here, if he wants to come on, I want to talk about
Black.
Blackout.
Come on, we can. That can be later on the show. We can have a man-to-man talk and.
Okay, well, if Mr. Comatose is out there, if Comatose is in the chat, let me know, and we can certainly arrange that. And the meeting, a lot of people, I've been doing comments for 35 minutes with you. People are just like, they really want to talk to you. They really want to talk to you.
I can talk about wrestling all day long.
Well, then you know what? We might be here a while. Ethan, I can't wait to humble you. Ethan.
Well, honestly, if they have a rematch, I don't see how RJS won't walk out with the victory there. He learns from his mistakes. He learns from past opponents, and if he loses to you, there is almost a 97% chance he's going to beat you next time he faces you. He did it to me, and he's done it to me ever since. That bastard.
It's a good analogy. Good analogy. Very hard to beat somebody back-to-back times. Very hard. Very hard.
No, I was able to do it with Swift, but that motherfucker, he got me.
Now you lost back-to-back to him. Yes, hello to Hillbilly.
Yeah, so now, but I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to wait till more towards November.
Last time you tried, I put you to sleep on a pile of chairs.
That was one of the Jordan Flame was able to commentate that match. She did a lovely job. Lovely
Now,
voice.
do you think Jordan Flame could, now I have to ask Jordan Flame a question. Do you think that Jordan Flame could give me some advice? Now, there's this thing called the Backyard Havoc in Bremen, Ohio, which I basically kind of came up with, sort of. And I'm doing commentary for a handful of matches because I don't have time to run through every single match. So I'm doing the championship matches. Do you think Mr. Flame would have any advice for me on commentary?
Call what you see. If you don't know exactly what the move is, just say hell of a slam, hell of a suplex, or anything like that. Because not everybody's gonna be.
I'm going to probably be more like Vince McMahon was on commentary. Not today's Vince McMahon, but I could see myself being more in the lines of that. Just I won't know everything, but I'll be able to kind of add my kind of
there's people like Sean Stone that doesn't know a lot, but then there's people like Jordan Flame that can name every single move that happens in the match, as long as it's not happening boom, 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 boom.
Well,
boom.
Jordan Flame seems to know a lot about pro wrestling stomp. That's why. What, 10,000
He does. I'm pretty sure last time I know he was actually wrestling down in Mexico in some place, but that's a whole other thing.
I have a wrestler coming on very soon that actually is wrestling someone that's in the PWI 500 who's actually cut his teeth in Mexico. Stud Bronson. He's actually coming here. Probably can't be tomorrow, but I'm hoping by the weekend. So, interesting show. I got a lot more comments. Let me get to them. Frosty again. I play chess, and you're all playing checkers. Work smarter, not harder, my boy. RTD.
He's got a point there. He is able to easily pick the bones, and he's able to outsmart most of his opponents. So I'll give him that.
Okay. I love giving Zilla what she wants, and then we say, I don't know what to say. Also, Mr. Jack Delta is in the house, stopping in to say hi. Good evening. Anything want to say to Mr.
Delta? I hope you're not feeling bad about the injury. It happens to everyone. I've gotten my fair share of injuries as well. In wrestling, outside of wrestling, you always come back stronger no matter what. And I know you will because you've got one health.
Absolutely. We love Mr. Delta.
We may not see eye to eye in a lot of things, but you're one hell of a person and a wrestler. So.
Well, I think, you know what? Some water seems to be under the bridge since your appearance a few months ago, and we can only get better from here. Zilla is the unofficial voice of the Shogunate and the voice of BYW. Yes, Zilla could definitely be the voice of anything. We love Zilla.
Such a big day when she went on Jack Delta's live and everyone found out she wasn't actually a bot.
You know what? I thought she was a bot for like 5 months. And then Zilla was on yesterday on Instagram. She was on Instagram with Jacob Dvorak and Anthony Steele. Zilla's everywhere now. Zilla's everywhere. Let's get to some more comments here. Okay, that I'll give you the most badass design I've ever had my name a part of. I do thank you for that.
Now, outside you would think I was glad to make it. Don't worry. If you ever want any other merch design to come to us, you just have to ask. I'm just fucking with you.
Well, we got more comments. The chat's just we may never end tonight. I was here. My birthday was. You were here with my birthday.
It was a good time. Unfortunately,
I had a great time. My birthday was great. I mean, I was here and people are still wishing me happy birthday. So yeah, I mean, my birthday was fun.
My phone crashed on me, the bastard, but hopefully it doesn't crash tonight. Hopefully not.
What's that?
Hopefully my phone doesn't crash tonight.
Well, that's why we won't keep you all night. I promise you. What's up, Jack Delta? Thanks for designing the apparel, Frosty RTD. Let's see here. That's someone I'm eager to hear from. Jacob, keep dominating the scene. May the Kami bless you and your career. Tom, thanks for being so awesome. Kami bless you as well. PXW needs me. Okay, well, obviously, we'll let you go, Mr. Matsuda. Thank you as always. We'll see you very soon, and I'll definitely see you in the next few weeks. Okay, so I think I got everything out of the way finally. Took 40 minutes, but you know what? Let me ask you then about what you said. I'm going to put it up on the screen in a minute. About now, all of a sudden, for what you did to Steven Storm. But today on episode 138, for those that are listening and watching here in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, Jacob Frost, why did you now all of a sudden, from your words, decide to challenge Blackout for that World Heavyweight Championship?
I said in the past that I'm not here for titles. I'm not here for anything like that. But seeing what Blackout has done, well, the lack of what Blackout has done has really made me very upset. Because I want the best for BTW. And because of bullshit like that, people don't want to travel to BTW. Why not have your world champion defending it every single chance that he gets? And if I win the BTW World Championship. I will defend it every single chance that I get, and I will be a world champion that people want, that people believe in, and the world champion that BTW needs going on to the new era.
But how bad do you need this? Because, okay, we've talked, and sure, the win-loss record is pretty good, but in a lot of ways, you were a man. You came here for stuff. You didn't get the job done. You've come here, and sure, recently you've had some big wins, but maybe RTG does have a point, and that the competition up until recently that you beat was what it was, and that you need this because your season, in a way, not that it's been a disappointment, but a lot of people looked at your season was built on one thing, in beating Swift. You didn't get the job done. But if you go out there and have this match, Halloween Day 2, and you go out there against Blackout and win that World Heavyweight Championship, all's going to be forgotten. So, in a way, don't you need this? Maybe is more than, as crazy as this sounds, than beating Swift?
Last year, in a matter of not even about 5 matches, I was the Continental Champion, and I held that title throughout the rest of the season until November to Remember against Swift. And, me not winning a title this year in that amount of time, people are going to be like, oh, well, this season isn't as good as last season. But pound for pound, I have had better matches this season than last season me would even dream of. Now, I will say there's one thing missing, and that is Derek Destroyer. Derek Destroyer handed me my first ever loss in BTW, and it was actually in a world title match as I was Continental Champion. He handed me that loss, and from then on, it was kind of downhill at loss after loss. But this changed this season. Swift was my first loss in a 1v1, as RTG will probably bring up the 6-man again. My first loss. And then, I lost to RJS, and I thought, it's going to go downhill again. But then I beat Steven Storm. And I have my confidence back. I am confident I will win against Blackout with no shenanigans. And it is a serious match because he is a monster.
But he's again, nobody's been able to topple him right now.
Nobody has been able to topple him because they don't think like I do. I can say that, RJS is one of the smartest people in the yard, and that, that's true. But he doesn't think the same way that I do. I see things as calculations. I see things as what I need to do. He sees things as he wants to do. He's a party animal. No, he's a party guy, kind of like BES. BES wants to do these flashy moves and everything like that, and he's beating.
Well, BES is I think a totally different party animal.
BES, he's beating me in the past as well, but I beat him to get the match against Swift this season, and they both lost to Blackout for the world title in a coffin match. But I've beaten BES, I've beaten RJS. And
RJS, I mean, he couldn't, for his life depending on it, would be able to beat Blackout. I mean,
no, I am very confident that no matter what happens, as long as it is a 1v1, that I will be able to beat Blackout. And I know that probably RTG is going to be out there, Gabriel James is going to be out there, and maybe someone else. I'm not too sure who they have up their sleeve anymore. With Northwest Society, they just keep bringing people in and taking people out. And
how do you keep dealing with the numbers game? We spoke about it when it came to the BCF3, but it's a different when it comes to the
dealing with the numbers game is going to be hard. Definitely because of the size difference. Blackout, of course, is a beast, a monster, an animal. He can get up from things that I wouldn't be able to get up from. The RJS wouldn't be able to get up from. Comatose wouldn't be able to get up from. I mean, he can take a move and be right back on his feet. And once you start getting the late stages, that can turn a whole match on its head. In RTG, as he said, he's playing chess. We're playing checkers, and he's correct. He is able to do things that's, very impressive. That you think, oh, he's going to lose this match, but then he's able to outsmart his opponent and win the match. Gabriel James he's very young, but he's more experienced than you think. And you don't think that he's...
Well, look at what he did against Swift a few weeks ago, right? He hung in there longer than a lot of people would have expected.
He hung up with Swift. Not many people can say that. He paid off Los Diego to have Comatose lose that Continental Championship match.
Well, Los Diego saved his job and saved BTW by his own kind of business way.
And I know Comatose was talking in the chat about him beating, most of them who was on the BTW team. But I don't think without that team that we would have been able to win that match. Even if I was on the match, Mad Jack could have.
And you could also even argue, and RTG's point was on Saturday's stream, that Comatose doesn't have a contract in BTW.
Comatose, no, he says he doesn't have a contract, but I think it's a very lenient contract. I think that he likes to say he doesn't have one, but how would he be wrestling here?
But didn't RTG say he didn't have a contract?
As I've said, he's a senile old man. He doesn't even know what happened 2 days ago. His wife probably took care of it, if I'm being honest. God, don't even get me
thank
started.
You, Mr. Ryan.
He's not right. We need to get more. We need to get other committee in there or something going on.
Well, I don't know enough about the management situation, but let me tell you. Yeah.
How could RTG allow a person to come into the company and not only be one champion, but two champions, the Continental Champion and the TV Champion? How can he allow that?
Because he knows what's good for business.
But how could he allow that when he would benefit more if he was on a contract? So I don't think we're hearing the whole story there. But,
that's a question you'd have to ask both sides. I don't know the legal terms.
I don't want to get into that too much.
Yeah, after the last week of Sportzwire, I would rather not personally. But let me tell you what, I want to play your promo for the crowd because I want to get into it and hear your words here because it just came out on Tuesday's show. So let's get to the words here on Sportzwire.
I feel great after defeating Steven Storm at All Out War. He ran his mouth too much and I showed him he wasn't on my level, but I don't want to linger on that for too long because I have one other problem within BTW. No, it's not Swift. I'll get to him eventually once more, but it's one of RTG's misfits. You see, RTG brought me back to help him defeat Swift. And on that same show, Blackout won the World Heavyweight Championship. And what has he done with that title since? Nothing. He's barely defended it. People don't want to come to BTW because of bullshit like that, RTG. Because of your monster. And you're going to come back with some lame excuse or lame comeback. Some lame name. That's fine. I know Blackout's too much of a pussy to face me. You see, I have longed for the BTW World Heavyweight Championship since I came here last season. You know, the Continental Championship is just fine, but the World Championship is just another beast, another animal. So, I'm officially challenging Blackout to a World Heavyweight Championship match at whatever the next pay-per-view is. So let's see if RPG has the balls to put me up against his monster. And I'll see you there.
Was that on purpose?
I've been that's a whole other thing for my psyche, but I won't get too far on that.
Fair play.
Blackout.
Anything you regretted or anything you want to add further on those words?
Every single thing I have said on this stream, everything I said in that promo was the truth. Blackout has done nothing for that title, with that title either. I want a champion, and BTW should want a champion, a fighting champion. A champion that is able to travel to different companies, which, I'm trying right now. A champion that actually defends the title. A champion that doesn't need someone else to talk for him.
But business is booming, though, in BTW right now. We got subscribership through the roof, viewership's up, interest in BTW. I mean, Copper Dragon now wants to cover BTW. BTW's become the new company on Sportzwire that we're covering regularly now. I mean,
why all of this has happened, and it isn't because of Blackout. As much as I hate to say it, because of Comatose, because of me and Swift and RJS and BES. We go out there.
But Comatose is the champion, though. You don't give him any credit?
I just said with Comatose.
Right, but Blackout's the champion, though.
he doesn't go out there like we do. He doesn't even have an Instagram. He has no social pages. Neither does RTG has an Instagram, but I don't think he promotes the shows like we do. Comatose he just puts out the link for every single show, especially for Sportzwire. Sorry, I can't speak right now.
I know it's been a long show. I know. I think last appearance of this one, you had so many comments on this show than the last one. You've become a regular now.
Definitely throw me off here. I'll restart.
It's okay.
Comatose puts a link out for every single show that is out on every Tuesday. Every time a BTW personnel is on Sportswire, he puts out a link.
Yep.
And I, will put the show out as much as I can. But Blackout isn't going out there week after week and wrestling week after week. He's not wrestling on pay-per-views or the World Championship. Hell, RTG is wrestling more than he does, and he's a
RTG's fighting for his career right now. His career is on the line.
Career, and where the hell is Blackout? He's doing nothing.
That's a good. I don't. I can ask RTG that Monday night.
Oh, great! I'll be there too. It's BTW day. You said correct.
It is BTW day. It's BTW day.
I'll be there. I'll definitely be.
Yeah, this one's actually. We don't have to take that one away. But okay, so he's the champion. So then, let me ask you. Then, do you think Blackout has been a failure as champion?
Yes. What he defended the title against RJS, I believe, once. And I think
RJS can never beat Blackout.
No, that's what RTG says, but I think RJS will hopefully sooner rather than later prove them wrong. But Blackout, he's done nothing with it. He can't promote shows.
So if you were champion, you think BTW would go to even bigger heights?
Yes. If I was champion, if Comatose was champion, hell, as much as I want to throw up when I say this, if Swift was champion again, he would be bringing it to bigger heights. But I seem to be the only person right now that has the balls to say any of this. Comatose.
Why you over Comatose?
Because, Comatose can come in here and talk all he wants. But I have the background and the list to prove why I can be one of the best in the backyard. He can talk about Backyard Wrestling Mania all he wants. He can talk about being the main event for that. I didn't even know what that was, and I'm one of the biggest Backyard Wrestling fans out there.
And the GBYWN Link guys who were here a few weeks ago, Sick Rick, and Sick Rick is in your chair next Tuesday, didn't really know about BYW Mania.
I've talked to Sick Rick and that whole show.
You know Sick Rick? What a small world. Sick Rick's here this next Tuesday.
No, I don't want to talk about my Foot Stomp account, my Pro Wrestling Foot Stomp on this show.
Don't talk about it, but Sick Rick. What a small world.
Yeah, I do. We've talked to him on that account and everything like that. And,
you must know then Rad Hazard then.
Yes, he comments on a lot of my stuff, especially when I put out Backyard Wrestling.
A man that advised me on the whole situation with what happened on Wednesday's show.
he loves to be like, I actually remember all that, and gives a history.
That's exactly what he does say off the air. Yeah. Okay.
I love it. I love.
So the point is though with that is that Comatose can talk about the BYW Mania shows, but to those guys that were in the yard who were Sportswire all today.
RJS was on one of the shows, and we were talking in the back before he actually went up to face Comatose, that he doesn't even remember the Backyard Mania shows, and he was on the shows. So that's a big thing.
So is that an indictment on Comatose?
Comatose likes to run his mouth. He likes to pretend he's the voice of the voiceless. He likes to pretend he's CM Punk in some way, shape, or form. But in reality, he is one hell of a wrestler. We'll give him that.
I mean, his comeback is.
It is very impressive. It might be even more impressive than mine. But he likes to run his mouth a lot, and sooner rather than later, he will get shot down.
Eventually, he can't cash the check. Eventually, right? Yeah. The check's gonna bounce.
Yes, it will. I'm not sure if I will be the one to do it. I'm not too sure if RJS will come back and do it. BES might do it again. Swift might come back and do it, or maybe a whole other competitor.
So you have the experience. Against Blackout, you have the experience.
I faced some of the best in the backyard, like Chris Storm, Matt Thunder, Jack Delta, Joe Erebus, Carson Michaels, Lucas Jackson, just to name a few. RJS,
Very
Swift.
best of that era, no
Some of the
question
best
about
of the
it.
best, and I've traveled
Couldn't
to
agree
some of
more.
the best places, and I have, the long car rides and all of that. And
Yeah.
I've only been a world champion 2 times in my career for JNA. So being the world champion for not my home promotion, I will, no matter what, elevate the title.
And be right now for a company that I think is ready to be elevated to be the very best in the backyard right now. That would make it extra special to have a company to represent them.
And especially
Right?
since we don't have a ring. There is no ring. We are a platform trampoline for right now, anyway, of course. We are called some of the best in the backyard, even if we don't have the ring.
I don't think it matters that BTW has a ring or
And
not.
it shouldn't matter. This is backyard wrestling.
I say Copper Dragon. I listen. Copper Dragon tells me all the time. I listen to him. He tells me that it don't matter. And BTW right now, pound for pound, in the backyard, not the underground, in the backyard, has the very best wrestlers, top to bottom.
The characters we portray, the wrestling we do, everything is top
It
notch.
doesn't matter if it's in a ring, a ground, and a mat, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. It doesn't matter what it is. Because at the end of the day, BTW is the very best. And if you win that championship over Blackout, you would also be a world champion once again. But to be a world champion of a company that might be the very best right now. I've anointed them to be basically to be the very best right there with ROEW. Flip a coin.
And I want to be their world champion. I think I can be their world champion. And I will be Blackout.
You will.
I will.
You will.
I will. Next time you see me here on Sportswire, well, I guess not next time because I'll be on BTW. The next time we have a solo session. There we go. The next time we have a solo
I would
session.
think next month. I would think we're going to be having a discussion next month. I mean, BTW is regularly on Sportswire, so I'm assuming that your contract will allow you to be here before November to remember.
Yes, and I will have a lot to talk about because my plans will be revealed by then.
You will?
I want to get into that.
Don't get into it now,
next
please.
Next time you see me, I will be holding not only this title, but the BTW World Championship around my other shoulder.
Well, you know what? I know we got some comments here, but before Mr. Frost that we sign off for the evening, you mentioned Comatose quite a bit. Now, you basically gave him an open invitation, and one of our BTW champions, our BYW Interpromotional champion, also our BTW TV champion, is here, and he would like to respond to some of the things you've said, and you basically invited him on, so I'm going to put him on the screen right now.
Bring him on here.
There you have it.
Comatose, and I know you probably have a lot to say, so just...
Comatose, I should basically let you just live on Sportswire because you've not been
here.
I
feel like this is a second home now.
I think you've been here like 3 times in 5 days, and I'm sure we'll see you more times coming up this weekend.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week for me being here in Sportswire.
Well, I'm
just
for
a crazy week in backyard wrestling in general.
But I think we're on the tail end of it right now. I really think we're on the tail end of it. But you heard a lot from Mr. Frost. He invited you here, and I'm going to let you have the floor to address some of the things that the so-called whiskey star, the man that should be, and from his vantage point, the man to represent BTW, and why you disagree with some of that.
Well, I'm gonna shock you. I'm gonna shock you guys right now.
Oh no!
I actually agree that Swift should be the one to take it, or not Swift. Jakob should actually beat Blackout for the championship, and it is for every single word that he said. Actually, I completely agree with everything that he just said about the world title picture. But you see, Jakob, whoever you want to be today, what you don't realize is you are a very, very talented wrestler. You have a very, very strong, what would I say, plan of what you think should happen in your career right now in BTW. And I'm not going to be as disrespectful as I was to RJS to you, because honestly, I have a lot of respect for you as a competitor. But I've actually only lost 2 matches this season. And one of the matches that I did win, whether you want to say that it counted or not, because here's the facts. If you won that match, we would never hear the end of it, right? I made your greatest rival tap out right in front of you. And you can't seem to get over the hump of him as of recently, so I don't know what makes you think that you can beat me in a one-on-one match at all. Swift has never beaten me. RJS has never beaten me. And I've also done the same thing you have done, running through the BCF and running through the entire company. And it seems like me and you are on a very, very similar path, because honestly, while I might not have been as obsessive as you about it, I also did come here for one reason. And that was to face the man that I did face. The difference is I came and got the damn job done. And I didn't have my mind clouded with this guy's private parts in my head, or in my head, or whatever. Just whatever body part you were thinking about that day that you wanted to injure on that man. You were just so obsessive with him that, yeah, you've gotten some wins, but did you get the wins when they really mattered, like I did?
Interesting point.
And now you may be correct, Comatose. I did not beat Swift, one of my main objectives here this season for BTW. You know, you are correct as well. My judgment is clouded by my hatred, by the obsessed that I want to beat Swift. You know, it's become less cloudy over time as I've gone and thought about the losses I've gained over the last couple of months. But how about I set a challenge for you and me, Comatose? I know that BTW, they like to produce big go-home shows.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to, if RTG accepts my challenge, I'm not going to put that on the line. But I know you probably even want that. I know you want to beat me. I know you want just another win under your belt. So I'm going to challenge you to the go-home show of BTW Halloween Day 2 on BTW event. Just one-on-one, no other persons out there, no weapons, just one-on-one.
Good old-fashioned
a one-on-one match? Just straight up one-on-one?
Straight up one-on-one. Me and him will probably team up if the BCF3 were to somehow come back. Northwest Society were to come out to screw one of us. No matter what, I know he would have my back on that, and I would have his, because I want to beat Comatose. Because Comatose is one of the best of this season. He has blown my expectation out of the water.
I think he's one of the very best right now in the entire circuit. We spoke about that on Saturday's show, what he's done.
But Tom.
Yes, sir.
He's better than me. And I know it.
But if he beats you,
you can say you beat Swift, you beat RJS, all that. But I'm not them. And I
but
know
it's a big, Mr. Frost, we're here with Comatose and Jacob Frost, 2 stars from BTW. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally, we're all wrestling matters. If you are here, please hit the sub button to BTW, YouTube at BTW 8136. They're almost at 3,100 subscribers. Please go out there and support them. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers here on Sportzwire Radio. But, Jacob Frost, aren't you risking a lot by doing this? Because you have a championship match against Blackout. If Comatose beats you once again, I mean, what is that?
Let me make this a little more interesting. Let me make this a little more interesting, because I accept your challenge.
You accepted?
I accept your challenge because I've wanted this match even before I came to BTW.
Oh.
But I'm going to make it a little more interesting for you. Since you're putting your own match on the line at Halloween Day 2, I'll do the same thing and put myself in jeopardy. Why don't we do it for the television title?
Oh my goodness!
I want you to know, though, that even if you were to beat me, you won't be added into the match at Halloween Day 2 if RTG were to get accepted.
Why not? That's
Because I
RTG's
want,
fault.
and I know, but
I don't want that.
I will give you the first shot at the BTW Heavyweight Championship if you are to beat me that day.
That's what I want. That is exactly what I want. I don't want to be added to the match with Blackout because I want to see Blackout get his ass kicked this season one-on-one. I want to see if there's anyone out there that can actually be able to beat that man one-on-one. And why would I want to interfere with that when it could be such a spectacle for me to watch?
Hey, Comatose, don't you think, though, that if you beat Jacob Frost right before that match with Blackout, Jacob Frost got, what's his odds of beating Blackout? It's got to be almost slim to none.
It definitely narrows the playing field, but however, if there's one thing that me and Mr. Frost can agree on, Blackout is making it very hard for competition to want to come to this place as an outsider along with Jacob Frost. And that's really why I want this match, by the way, just to see who the best outsider is. But as two outsiders coming from different companies to this company, and seeing someone taking the Roman Reigns approach, taking 6 fucking months off and doesn't ever want to defend the title or be on any house shows.
But that's in BYW the last 2 years. I've seen like 5 different champions do the whole Roman Reigns thing.
Because they like to copy what they see on TV. And
Exactly.
They don't have the guts
Yeah,
to.
that's true. That's like everything else, though. You know, there's like Eddie Van Halen's the greatest guitar player, Jimi Hendrix, and they all copy him. Yeah, I got it. I understand.
And I mean, even in a way, in some ways, I somewhat copy Roman Reigns too, if you want to call my GOAT persona copying him, but you know,
yeah.
But at the same time, at least I come every single time that they want me to defend my title. Of course, they don't. Of course, the Northwest Society doesn't want Blackout to defend that title. Why would they?
Let me ask you guys both this question. I see there's some comments here. I'll say hello to everybody in a minute. But if whoever wins this match, if I were to say, with the way everything's shaken up in BYW this year, if the winner of this match could say that they were the best wrestler in BYW this year, what would you both say to that?
I say that'd be correct. Me and Comatose, we haven't traveled anywhere this year.
Haven't needed to, though. Look at who you guys are facing.
We haven't felt the need to, but I know we both want to. And I feel that what we have done in the ring, outside of the ring, has proven that we are two of the best in the backyard. And, well, honestly, he's beaten RJS, as he said. He's beaten Swift. And I have in the past, and I've beaten someone he hasn't in BES.
That's very true. That is very true.
You talked a lot about BES on Saturday's show. You talked about that.
I will give you that. You are one of the only people that have been able to pin BES this season, and even I have had the unfortunate event of not being able to do that. And I did lose fair and square to BES, so that is major props coming for me because he's in my way.
He is. And we have beaten the best in BTW, and now we are going to face. And as he said, it's for the television championship. And as I said, if he is to beat me, and I do, and when I do become BTW World Heavyweight Champion, he has the first shot at the title.
And if you win, let me conversely ask you this, Mr. Frost. You win. Let's say you beat Comatose. Go home show before Halloween Day 2. You're the BTW television champion. I mean,
I will gladly carry that championship like I carried the Continental Championship last season with pride.
And if you go into that match as the TV champion, you've got all the momentum in the world. And then conversely, you could be a double champion. All of a sudden, maybe you're the favorite against Blackout. Maybe you are. After going through Comatose, what Comatose just did to RJS?
You know what? No matter if I'm the underdog or the person that has bet on the most, I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to do everything in my power to beat Blackout. And I know RTG has something up his sleeve, and I'm not too sure what it is. It could be 3-on-1. It could be no rules. It could be all.
RTG is here, and he would like to say that, which is a good point. Funny, these two making a match before me, finalizing anything.
RTG.
I mean, I'll let you talk. No, you say it.
You want me to bring my contract back up? I can pretty much do what the hell ever I want. But
Oh, well,
I know
that's not
you're
what I
gonna
thought you were
make
going to say,
because
but
you like making money, don't you? This is a money.
there
match.
you go. Yep,
Blackout
there you
earnings
go. Yep. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't want such a money match. I mean, me and Jacob Frost are from two very different parts of the country,
True.
traveling to one part of the country to meet up in this federation. Wouldn't we wanna
Maybe if
see-
I'll tell you why he wouldn't want the match, because you could say conversely, if he's trying to, in RTG's position, to defend his investments, he would want you guys at 100% going into a huge show coming up Halloween Day 2.
Oh yeah, because he cares.
Yeah,
so
'cause
much.
he
He
likes
really
to fight
cares about
fair.
that.
He likes to fight fair.
I
course,
listen.
RTG.
I gotta at least speak up for him. I mean, I gotta give him that.
No,
I gotta
it
be
says
fair.
something right here. He was busy winning the tag team championships.
Yes.
Why in the hell would he even be fighting for the tag team championships when he is the world champion and he should be defending his title on the show instead of fighting for another title?
Because
you know why?
putting more
You
gold.
know why, Jake? Because I think I made him a little insecure.
There is another person in Northwest Society in Gabriel James that RTG could have teamed with, but he chose Blackout instead. Because why? Because I think he would have lost that match if he didn't. And he says he likes to protect his investments. The only thing he's protecting is Blackout. He's protecting him from getting embarrassed, from getting beat, and for no longer being world heavyweight champion.
But what if I said that RTG's protecting you guys from getting embarrassed?
That's
Should
a
you
bunch
be
of bullshit.
That's bullshit.
He
No.
likes to run his mouth so much. He likes to think he's the smartest person in the room. But we are 3 steps ahead of him.
We are.
You are.
Thanks.
You are.
And here's my question. If he was so concerned about our health, why in the world would he always be jumping people every match, before a match, after a match, in the locker room?
He's
He doesn't
trying to
give a-
get he's obviously making a point.
He's making a point by damn near ending some people's careers that he has done that to. But he cares so much.
While he's provided good working conditions.
He has. You mean his wife?
I don't like to get into people's personal business, especially after the last week on sports, but I'd rather not go there respectfully.
Understandable.
He has put his own children in jeopardy before. RJS.
He's fighting his own child at Halloween Day.
He had his.
But we don't know if RTG's accepted that yet, though. RJS
He has had his monster tombstone one of his children into a wooden coffin.
Well, maybe he was trying to teach him a life lesson.
A life lesson.
Life lesson.
This is what a coffin looks like, boy.
This is what a coffin
I don't, you know what? You never know. It's who knows? Parenting is just different everywhere you go. I don't know. I do have to say hello to somebody. I have to give a huge shout out because I actually have a new subscriber who is actually from an event I'm actually sponsoring. So if I don't do this here, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. I have to thank my very dear friend, Miss Angela Pink, for actually setting this up, because we have a brand new subscriber who is all the way out from the friendly confines of Brooklyn, New York. And he would like to say hi from Pink. That's Freedom Oof. How you doing, Freedom? And maybe I'll see you on October 27th at the Soul of Brooklyn Music. So there you go. One door closes where I say we're going to close with Brooklyn one promotion, but now we're promoting something in the community. And I got some new subscribers. So, Mr. Freedom, you're watching wrestling from BTW. We're here with Comatose, who is the BYW Interpromotional Champion, the BTW TV Champion, and we're here with the legendary Jakob Frost, the Whiskey Star, and we're talking about their potential match before Halloween Day 2 from our friends in Roseburg, Oregon. So thank you, Freedom.
I think I'd like to move on from this topic. I would actually like to keep Comatose here for one thing I'll get in a second, because I know the match. He sees money in this match. He sees star power in this match.
He's just talking shit.
He'd be stupid and not make this match. But I think we should keep Comatose here and check out the latest event in that 6-man tag. And I think we should talk about that for a little bit, because
I can bring it up on the screen.
That was a lot going on.
That was quite a bit.
Now, Comatose was in the chat watching, and I was in the back watching. So I think we should talk about that 6-man, because it was one of the craziest matches in BTW this season.
I can certainly put it up on the screen.
Yeah, especially that one spot. Holy hell.
I think we're up to it here. Okay, there you go. So obviously we're here. We're here now.
Yeah, frisbee right in the nuts. Perfect place to play it.
Have you ever done that in your career, Comatose? A frisbee to one of your opponents?
Never. That's pretty damn creative.
Well, maybe we'll try it again. But obviously, yeah, that was definitely one for the ages there. And
The Swift has the injured back, I think, from yours truly, from that Death Valley driver off the trampoline. But
It could be that, or it could be the fact that I speared him straight through a table in that 6-man elimination. It could be a lot of things.
RJS definitely. I did bring up Comatose in the chat today that RJS. I was wondering his condition after what you did to him last week.
And he seems fine.
He seems pretty all right. Doesn't matter.
Swift seemed pretty all right. But here we go. All right, this is the spot. All right, this is the spot.
Yeah, this spot's fucking crazy. And this is just one of them. But this, that is high up. And I'm going to tell you what.
I still don't know why on earth did BES attempt this, and did he not think of death potentially if he missed?
No, you say that, but Swift did it to me and me alone when he could have easily gotten more hurt.
Well, I don't have
At least BES landed on a crowd. I could have moved out of the way for Swift, and he would have splat right into the mat.
But you probably wanted to do that, to move out of the way for Swift.
I definitely wanted to, but I didn't have time.
That's true too, but still, BES. I mean, he had his life flash before his eyes, and yet he still did it, huh?
And that ledge is a lot higher than it looks like on camera.
You know, I was thinking the same thing. It has to be what, 6 stories?
Definitely not that, but at least 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you guys are up in God's country. It could be 6.
Yeah, it's probably 2 to 3 stories high, for sure.
And RTG.
I'm actually gonna.
By the way, RTG Dumatos, I doubt it was from your spear as it was in July. More likely from the victory over Frosty, RTG.
But I will say that I actually want to talk about before this match happened. BES actually originally wanted to do a moonsault from there, but he talked himself out of it.
No, why did he talk himself out of it? Did you guys maybe have a friendly chat with him talking about maybe his life expectancy?
No, he just did it himself. We were all for it.
And what was with the spears? I mean, Steven Storm was doing more spears than I think Goldberg's done the last 25 years.
No, everyone wants to do the spear because it's the spear. So
Comatose does the spear too, Comatose.
Yeah, except his is a little different ripcord spear.
No, I was watching NEW and Power Surge was doing the spear almost. Everybody's doing the spear this year in BYW.
Yeah, but you got to make it your own. You can't just do the spear. You got to make it your own.
But the spear is like it. But how do you make it your own? It's like that's the move. It's the spear.
Because Comatose.
Well, you're different though, Comatose.
Ripcord spear is way different from
RJS said pick your own moves. Pick your own moves.
You aren't able to get as much run up on a ripcord.
You know what you guys should do? You guys should all go up on the ledge in BTW and figure out pick a move out of a hat.
I want everyone to have different move sets. I don't like when people have the same move, honestly. But and
fair. By the way, Zilla called it a jumping spear.
Steven.
Zilla should actually go and do commentary.
But Swift definitely has the best spear in the backyard probably today. He gets.
I would agree with that.
He throws his whole entire body.
And then we still have the stunner there. Soldier GP and
James
Taylor be upset about multiple. That.
Yeah, especially from me that's taking it in different.
Yeah, that's what.
Do you guys ever feel like when you watch BTW, it's like you're watching a video game?
Sometimes when BES is in the match, yes.
Yeah,
that's why I asked.
I don't know. Honestly, watching my one night only match over with BES again, that shit was a straight video game.
We'll have to put it back up on the screen.
There's actually a match.
When you come back after the season, we'll play it for the audience. How does that sound?
There's a match that is coming up. Spoilers here, but then I'm facing BES again.
Why are you spoiling matches for Jacob? I know you're the whiskey lariat, but why are you doing that?
That shit is a video game that I really.
I'll watch it with you next month whenever it comes out, and we'll talk about it then.
Oh yeah, no, it's a video game.
Did Swift do like a jawbreaker almost onto?
He did this Swiftinator, the flatliner onto Matt Jack.
And there's BES yet again. BES expect to walk when BES is like 35. Does he expect to be able to walk?
Well, I hope so, but from the stuff he likes to do, then I'm not too sure.
Because I could only imagine. Does RTG have a comment on that, or probably not? Right?
Probably not. Brett was just like, he's gonna do
that was a pretty sweet move there by Stephen Storm, I got to say. It was pretty sweet.
Jesus.
And this, did he not do the Eddie Guerrero there?
He
By the
did.
way, Zilla wants, I have to do, if Zilla will kill me if I don't bring this comment, I have to bring it up here. So Zilla would like to say, where's Zilla? Zilla wants to say one of the dream matches that she wants to have is a triple threat between herself, Comatose, and Jacob Frost.
Ooh. I don't know, Jake. We might be in over our heads on that one.
You know what? I wouldn't want to match with Zilla. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. She's pretty intimidating.
Zilla's even got Anthony Steele on the run.
Oh my.
Yeah, but yes, yeah.
But you know, BCF 3, they definitely blew my expectations out of the water, and especially against this match, the shit they wanted to take was crazy. Honestly.
Did they prove something that maybe?
I think a lot of fans have definitely thought less of them throughout this season because they haven't done much. But I think this match should definitely.
They held the tag team championship.
They did the tag team championship.
The television championship too, as well, right?
Yes, Steven was the television,
and Comatose took that from him, right? Comatose, remember that?
All the way back in Mania.
But people might
Comatose, you and Mania's Comatose. You seem to be good in those.
Oh, I'm real good in Mania.
And
I tend to get thousands upon thousands of views when I'm in a Mania.
Well, RTG says 2 or 3 seasons ago, BES got thrown off the lower balcony on top of 2 tables, probably about a 10-foot drop. See, I wasn't that far off.
Actually, I did watch this match. Watch that match before.
I tell you what, in the off season, I tell you what we're gonna do. In the off season, because there'll be a lot of downtime in BYW coming up in about a month. You want to pick your favorite BTW matches of the season on Sportzwire. We'll watch them on there. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect for me, and I know probably RJS will probably want to be there as well, maybe RTG and all of them. So
whatever you want.
We just do another BTW day.
Tell me the matches you want with the best, and we'll watch them here.
Of course.
And then there's the ladder shot.
Oh shit!
That ladder wasn't plastic, right? That wasn't the ones you'd buy at the toy store, right?
Oh no!
Nope, that was metal.
And there was the curb stomp there. That was definitely RJS's game. Yeah, we'll do that in the off season. We'll do it because there'll be a lot of downtime in BYW. There's going to be a lot of downtime in about 30 days, 45 days, something like that.
Yeah.
That's
so close.
It's crazy that it's already October. I feel like it was yesterday the BYW season started, and here we are in October. Whatever.
Yeah, this whole season of BTW has gone just flown by for me. I'm not too sure why.
Same,
but
actually.
I will be very excited to see what's in store next season, and I'm very excited to be able to do stuff.
You are. As if you haven't been doing stuff in this season.
Well, I'll be doing way more next season. Don't you worry.
I see. Thank you for thank you for confirming that. Yeah, RJS said I feel
Spoilers.
that. Well, that wasn't too much of a spoiler. And then
here's Los Diego. RJS hyping up Los Diego that he is BTW. Get their ass, Los Diego.
You know what I said in the chat? I thought the fix was in. I thought the fix was in the whole show. You know what? And no, Zilla was in the chat. Nobody disagreed with me. Was it not the fix was in tonight in this match?
This is BTW. Goddammit.
Yeah,
going crazy on commentary. He was
I didn't comment and agree with you, but that was because I was.
Your mom didn't comment on it. You didn't comment on it.
No, I actually agreed with you, but I was doing other things in the moment.
Yeah, you're probably sharing it on Instagram.
Actually, well, I was doing something a little more private.
Okay, we'll leave that at that. We have enough private stuff on Sportzwire.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're watching some of the match here. But again, just what these guys put themselves through. I mean, I just don't know how these guys did it.
Yeah, and to give props, I've got to give some props, honestly, in this match.
Okay.
Swift for one, and I know Jake is gonna hate that I'm saying this, of course, but Jacob, sorry.
Yeah, get it right.
I know. Yeah, I know. I gotta remember
Now,
who
I
you are
think
today.
RJS said, "What do you mean by that?" I don't know who is he referring to.
Yeah, I don't either.
heard the Comatose thing. He was doing more personal things.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, yeah. We'll leave
well, I'm
that
not
at
getting
that.
into that.
I would prefer you not to at this point.
Yeah,
Los
no,
Diego had
that's
enough
too
of the
personal
BCF.
for Sportswire. Sorry.
Please, exactly. We've had enough of that already on Sportswire. Please.
Yep.
Enough of that. But obviously, Swift had enough with the chair shots there that we can talk about. We can definitely talk about the Swift chair shots, right? We can talk about those chair shots.
Swift is great with chair shots, and that was a beautiful.
He
move.
had like a minivan Terminator there a little bit.
Van Daminator.
Well, there you go. Whatever it is.
Van Daminator.
But as I was saying, I got to give props to Swift because obviously you can see his back's taped up, so it's got to be hell being in a match like this right now with the fate of the company on the line.
Good.
How
Fuck
much
that
pressure
guy.
you think is on both sides then going into something like this?
Way more pressure on the BTW side.
Why?
Because if they lose, it's no longer their company. As opposed to BCF just needing to leave this company to go back to their own.
You could also say, though, how could these guys coexist together?
That is very true, but
RJS and Swift, they can coexist. They have the glorious beast, but RJS and BS is definitely another story.
Sibling rivalry, and there's
Yeah.
RJS again there.
You know, they
Well-
may be brothers, but they have one of the fiercest rivalries.
Absolutely.
but they both also share the same love of keeping BTW safe.
That's their home.
They love BTW as BTW, and they would never want it to change.
How about that Mad Jack chokeslam just now?
Yeah, he's a monster with those.
Yeah, he
chokes.
turned me
Like
inside.
if him and Blackout had a match, that would be a chokeslam spectacle.
Well, they'll have to be somewhere else because it's not happening this season.
I mean, no, Mad Jack and Blackout. My bad, Blackout.
Yeah, as I said, it's not happening now. Also, I do the Bobby Lashley like spear, and Los Diego should have just called it down the middle. Him not doing that cost us the match. I said the fix was in. That was Steven, you were in the chat. I was saying that throughout the show that the fix was in. And RTG says, I'm glad I put Swift in there because he would die before losing this match in the company. Pretty fair analogy. That's why he's not so much of a senile old man then, right? Is he still that senile old man?
Yes.
Oh, even senile old men have routines.
Let me get there first, and I'll let you
But
know.
it's very impressive that Steven was in the chat and wrestling at the same time.
He's always
Storm could,
somehow
like,
doing that.
I don't, Steven
I
Storm.
don't understand how he does it, but
Steven Storm. I just don't know how Steven Storm does anything. Steven Storm should just take over Sportswire. Then we'd probably get more viewers. He can talk.
I think Comatose would probably take over.
Publicly said that shit.
Yeah, well, obviously, we'll leave that for a different time. Well, I'll tell you what. When I get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll have BTW members come on, and they can roast me, and you can make fun of me. And I'm sure in a month or so.
I think we would like to actually
After your
roast session for RTG.
I don't know if I can roast you anymore, man. After your birthday,
People still want to see more pictures, but obviously,
go
ahead.
I think Sportswire should host a roast for RTG once he gets his ass retired. That'd be fun.
Well, RTG keeps winning though. He's not retiring anytime soon.
Oh, one of these days he'll meet his end. You think?
Well, so far he seems to be on top of the mountain.
well, the dirt collects everything it sprouted out at one point.
That's a good analogy. I also feel sorry for Swift here because a Mad Jack chair shot will mess you up for a long time. And by the way, how about that little leg drop there? That would be, by the way, RJS wants a roast of RTG, but RTG keeps winning. So I'm not going up against management. By the way, I'm down if one of you chumps can retire me.
Oh, challenge.
RJS, I need you to get on that a Halloween day, okay? Just
no, Steven Stumped. Steven Stumped. That's a good nickname. Steven Stumped.
I like that.
RTG always has to bring up stupid names, trying to make something up.
That one's good though. I like that one a lot.
That was a good one.
Steven.
I'll make this happen at Halloween Day. I don't know about that, but we'll have to find out. I don't know. Stay tuned, I suppose. Stay tuned. By the way, Zilla also wants to wrestle RJS.
I've got
I'm actually looking at the comments from earlier, Tommy. You missed a parsley one that says
Let me get to the parsley. There's a lot of comments.
winner
There's a lot of
becomes a
comments
sinner.
tonight. All right, which one am I going for? Oh,
The winner becomes a sinner. Wow. I'm very honored, Mr. Parsley, but that might be a different talk for a different day, but for me and Comatose, but
well,
never say never, I guess.
Mr. Parsley's seems to have his interest in the two.
He seems to be very interested in BTW lately, and
Well, because he sees quality. Well, I can't blame Mr. Parsley for that. He sees quality.
I would be obsessed with BTW too if I wasn't in it.
But we have a real BYW company. Before we had cosplayers regularly come on here. Now we have regular wrestlers, actual legitimate BYW.
He should be more worried about that greatest man to ever live guy that's been going on Sportswire lately.
You know, was that not bizarre or what? Was
very bizarre. I was in the
lights went out.
So
that got on Instagram, it got 500 plus views. Facebook, it got like I think 600. And TikTok, it got like 300 plus views. It was like bizarre.
The greatest man that ever lived.
The greatest man.
I think it was my friend Luke Leyland from the UK who has had the highest viewed show on YouTube of Sportswire history. Said, you know, Tom, you were really stumped by that. What was happening there? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. People were asking me offline, and they were asking me what happened there. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I was relieved they were asking me. I was relieved. I'll tell you this much. I was relieved they were asking me that rather than what happened on Wednesday's show. But nevertheless, I was still perplexed. But RJS is not perplexed because he's got these things he's bringing out.
Oh, dear Lord.
The thumb. Yeah. You know, I was in the back. I was in the back watching Jordan Flame scream about the thumbtacks, and it was crazy. I didn't even know. He said, "Here, Frost, take this," right before the match, and then he came back and grabbed them from me, and then, thumbtacks. What the hell? I didn't even know what was in the bag.
Well, by the way, RJS said, "Tax spot brought to you by me." Pretty clever line there. And Zilla liked the chair shot.
Swift
get a good. I can't speak right now. You can't speak tonight.
I know it's been a long show. We're going to end after the match. Trust me. How do you think that? I do
pretty good chair shot.
I do this every day. You remember that? I do it every day. Just remember that. And this is going to hurt, though. This is going to hurt for Paul.
Oh God, yeah. And then on top of that, Swift leverage pins him on the tax.
That was basically like hit the road, Jack, and don't come back.
That man's got tax in places he didn't know he could have tax in places.
I tell you what, when I have like the hardcore deathmatch wrestlers, I'm sure that I'll have to ask them about that spot. I'll have to ask the guys like Jimmy.
You can ask your good old friend Ox McCoy about that.
Ox was messaging me on Instagram. He liked my baby photo, by the way, and not in that kind of way, but he liked the baby photo. I'll ask Ox about that. Ox is here next week, I think. He'll be here in some form. He'll be an AI version. I'll definitely ask Ox McCoy about that. I'll ask him. Yeah, Mad Jack is down. He's hurt.
I will say this is probably one of the coolest moments I've seen in a long time in backyard wrestling. Here.
Yeah. And hopefully Mad Jack picks his pants up.
He was sagging all season, man. It was crazy.
No, you know what I said this whole year in BYW? What was up with guys with pants sagging?
That's Sag Jack, bro. It's Sag Jack.
I ain't going to get mad at him. He's not here anymore, but obviously very classy move. I said it, by the way, in the chat. Very classy. By the way, RJS said it was funny what I said. I had to stop Swift from whooping more ass.
Yeah, he was going. He started stomping a butthole. He was on tax already.
I'm glad somebody got it. I love the BTW. By the way, BTW is live every Tuesday, 6 o'clock. I'm in the chat. Zilla's in the chat. Hang out with us every Tuesday, 6 o'clock. It's my favorite. One of my favorite parts of the week is being in the BTW chat. It's the BTW chat and the RWW chat. I'm in every one of those shows. So hang out with us.
You just never know when you're going to get on a show for BTW. It could be.
That's why I'm here in the chat. This isn't the first time Mad Jack was slammed on Tax. I once choke slammed him through a table with Tax.
You choke slammed him
through a table with Tax? Yes, sir.
I'm not even marveled at the table of Tax. I'm marveled at the fact that Steven Storm was able to get that Tax up for
Steven Storm is a lot tougher than he might be, apparently to people.
Yeah, but Mad Jack's a lot taller than he looks.
Well, Steven Storm is he's Steven Productions. I'll be here next week and he'll tell me about it. But before we sign off, please hit the sub button for BTW. If you've not seen, if tonight's show was not an advertisement enough of why BTW has become basically our new number one or co-number one on Sportswire, I don't know what would be more of an advertisement when it comes to BYW. So please support our friends. Copper Dragon has now endorsed BTW. What more do you want? Copper Dragon said, we got to put more
I am very interested to see what he first reviews, honestly.
Me too.
You would have to ask now. I will tell you this much. Mr. Dragon's back on Sportswire next month, and you are more than welcome to talk about that with him.
Well, we'll gladly see what's going on that day.
And I know he was here yesterday, but he was here rating my baby photo. That's a different photo. Different review. But he'll be, I'm sure, talking about some BTW. He'll absolutely be talking. He's been planning his return for like 3 months. So he's very excited to be here. He'll be back next month and he'll talk about whatever.
Get some star ratings.
Well, we'll talk about a lot of it. Anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here?
Well, Comatose, when RTG does make the match official, let the best man win.
I completely agree. We will let the best man will definitely win. There is absolutely no disrespect. I just simply want to pin you.
Well,
and
if you want to pin me, then I'll tap you out, I guess.
You could pin me. It could go either way. But as someone that's as talented as you are, I do believe you deserve a shot to be a double champion. So let's make it happen.
And I know you've been a double champion in the past, and you've had very much success.
Triple champion.
Well, for BTW, that's not a BTW title, really.
Oh, it's really.
Here we go in the technical aspect of wrestling there, and also Zilla says she wants to wrestle the best in BTW.
You will find that out.
The best in BTW is like RTG, Steven Storm.
Well, how about Los Diego?
Los Diego, of course, is also the best in BTW. I think he might be the GOAT. I don't know.
I don't know. Rick Manson's pretty damn good,
bro. He should be the number one wrestler in BYW this year. Should be Los Diego.
I think it was Rick Manson.
I think it might be Clevis, actually.
Probably together.
Not FED.
No, one hive mind.
All right, I think we got the point tonight. If you haven't yet, before we go, I want you to, first of all, please support Jacob Frost. Let's give him a follow on Instagram. Make sure you follow him. Please support those that support us. He's here all the time now. We love, obviously, having those that certainly can do a lot for us on our circuit. That's his Instagram page. Go out there and support him. Also, while we're here, let's support Comatose. Comatose is now officially, I think, taking up space on Sportswire. So if you want to go follow Comatose, he is on Instagram as well. I would really recommend you support these two guys. We love having these guys here. They're doing a lot of great things for us. We're so happy to be working with BTW. I can't stress enough the positivity that we have. And Zilla thought you both were sinners already.
We're sinners in other ways, I guess you could say.
Well, I think on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. But speaking of IMF, I will be here tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern time, with Mephisto, the IMF World Champion. He will be here to have his first words since he won that title a couple weeks ago against Soldier GP. He'll talk about something last week. He'll talk about that. And Friday is, speaking of ROBW, maybe if what kind of mood I'm in, maybe I'll let you gentlemen speak to Big Man Cam. He'll be here right after SmackDown. So let's see what kind of mood Mr. Cam is in here. Maybe we'll invite...
You might need to invest in a soundboard for censors for him, Tom. Because
I do want to say hello to one of my buddies, my very dear friend, the Tribal Cheese, the legendary Tribal Cheese.
The Tribal Cheese.
Yeah, he is one of the all-time greatest wrestlers in British independent wrestling history, one of the greatest draws. He is also a very big-time, he's like the James Taylor of TikTok and YouTube in the UK. He's got an Instagram page, which I really want people to follow. Also, YouTube. He's got 2,200 subscribers nearly. So if I see you right now, go hit the sub button for the legendary Tribal Cheese. I acknowledge him. He's in our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and I would really appreciate it. I see a few people here right now. Go hit the sub button for him. He's almost at 2,200 subscribers. He'll be back on Sportswire before the end of the year. I want to catch up with him, get his thoughts on some different things. And he's been a dear friend of mine for a year and a half. And I'm a loyal guy. I like to support those that have been there with me. And this man's an inspiration. He went through a well-documented mental health battle in his last match. He's used that to motivate people and advise, and he's really one of the best people that's ever come on this platform. So please support this man. He's up at 5 o'clock in the morning watching us. So definitely we acknowledge our tribal cheese. If you're out there right now, his YouTube channel is Mad Manxzilla. Go hit the sub button for him. He's a good man. Everybody here in BTW and elsewhere, please support this man. He is truly the definition of a legend. And if you need advice, hit him up on Instagram. I'll give everybody his Instagram page. You can talk with him. And he loves wrestling. He knows just about everything there is. Please go support this man. Support those that support us. That's a legendary tribal cheese. I acknowledge him. And I'm about out of breath now. So that's the plug. We're going to move on. Thank you, everybody. I need to catch my breath because I'm here tomorrow night. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally. We're all wrestling matters. We were joined by Jacob Frost, the Whiskey Star, ahead of his showdown against now Comatose and Blackout, depending on what RTG thinks. Comatose is the BYW Interpromotional Champion, the BTW TV Champion. Jacob Frost very well could be the next, if he gets his way, BTW World Champion. But until then, if you're on Sportswire Radio, thank you, everybody, for subbing. We're at Sportswire Radio 6579. And thank you, Tribal Chief. Yes, I try my best to put everyone over. And thank you for also all the birthday wishes. Thank you, everybody, for wishing me a happy birthday. And please support BTW, YouTube, BTW 8136. They're almost at 3,100 subscribers. Thank you to Angela Pink for giving me all those new subscribers and the Russian community in Brooklyn. The Rush, we lost those perverts out there in Tennessee, but now we've gained the Russians in Brooklyn. The Russians in Brooklyn are going to get me to 1,000 subscribers. The Russians in Brooklyn. Thank God for the Russians in Brooklyn. God bless the Russians in Brooklyn. They are going to get me to 1,000. That's what we say, everybody. Until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one Global Radio Station and Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling